Hi and welcome to this week's Sim Racing News Roundup, and we've got a lot going on this week. So we start off first of all with RaceRoom. So last Friday was April Fool's Day, and RaceRoom launched their annual April Fool's update. The main upshot of this was lots of silliness that of course never happened in the game, but we did get an updated version of the shopping cart that they first used in April Fool's Day last year, which was actually surprisingly entertaining to drive. So I'll link to the patch notes and also a video of that down below, because it is worth checking out. Silly, but quite good fun. Then on non-April Fools and serious news, Assetto Corsa Competizione has had a hotfix issued, which mainly looked at tidying up some of the things around the recent Challengers DLC cars and tidying up some gameplay issues as well. Again, patch notes down below on that. Next up we have Hot Wheels Unleashed. So after last week releasing some DLC that was actually included in the Season Pass, we're back this week with a new racing season. So this is where they nickel and dime us once again. So some free stuff and some chargeable premium items under the DC Superheroes racing season. So what they give with one hand, they disappoint with the other. So yeah, not good. Hot Wheels Unleashed. We then move on to Motorsport Games, and you're probably going to have to strap yourself in a little bit for this one because, well, it's entertaining. So, Motorsport Games, the ruiners of franchises and all-round, well, I will share you my personal view on what they're exactly like, but you may remember they got the license to the British Touring Car Championship, and they did have it penciled in as a 2022 release. Well, they've just released their roadmap going forward, and the BTCC has been removed from 2022 in that, and simply says BTCC new title anticipated release date to be determined, which isn't good. And then leading on from that, now they've not advertised this, but they've definitely done it, and I can give you links to all of this down below in the descriptions. They've now started selling NFTs, which, let's be honest, is not a good look. So NFTs for the 24-hour Le Mans virtual event can now be purchased at varying values. So what they're effectively doing is selling you NFTs of R-Factor 2 pictures and videos. Now, aside from the fact that NFTs are just a pointlessly stupid waste of the planet, quite frankly, RF2 isn't even that good looking a game. I mean, it's a great title and it's a really solid sim, but it doesn't look good enough to justify this by any stretch of the imagination. So quite what's going on with that is anybody's guess, or rather it would be if it wasn't for the fact that the Motorsport Games financial statement has been released. Now, to say that they are hemorrhaging money would be a colossal understatement. So for the year ending December 31st 2021, the company incurred a net loss of $33.7 million, had negative cash flows from operations of approximately $20.9 million, and as of December the 31st 2021 had an accumulated deficit of $38 million. And also the company expects to continue to incur losses for the foreseeable future as it continues to incur significant expenses to develop new game franchises. Accordingly, the company does not believe the existing cash on hand will be sufficient to fund its operations for at least the next 12 months. So Motorsport Games is basically screwed, having bought up a shit ton of really good, strong licenses. Hence the reason, by the looks of it, the BTCC title is turning into vaporware, as I'm sure all of their other stuff is. Now, titles that we don't have, I can kind of stomach losing. The licenses will go elsewhere. But this is the company that effectively killed the NASCAR series, because Ignition is just a complete mess and remains that to this day, 6 months later, a total mess. But they own R-Factor 2. It's not perfect, but it's a damn solid sim. And they also own Kartgraph, which was looking really, really promising before it blatantly got pushed out of early access far too early. And I've got videos on that particular one as well. But things are not looking good for Motorsport Games, and they may well drag down two established sims and one very promising one with them, which would be an absolute shame. So we then move on to better news. Automobilista 2 have announced its April dev update, and as I'm recording this, they've also released the beta candidate for it. So there's a lot of good stuff coming with this. New track, new updates for the Brazilian stock car, and a new track. As well as this will be bringing the Formula Ultimate Gen 2, so that's the car we spoke about last week, that's effectively Razor and AMS2's take on the current generation, so the 2022 F1 car. So beta candidate I've not had a chance to look at yet, and I imagine the release is imminent within the next week or so on that. We then move on to Gran Turismo 7, and that has today released update 1.11, which I've not had a chance to play around with yet. This has brought some changes to the in-game economy, but in all honesty, it's not made the payouts any better than they were at launch, so the economy still has issues around it. It has increased customer race payouts, but they are still a fraction of what you can get for the same event as an actual event, so that makes no sense whatsoever. And they have added some endurance races in missions, so whether those are one and done payouts or not, we don't yet know. And they've added, I think, 3 events into the actual world circuit, and also made some tweaks to roulette and a few other bits and pieces. So going to need to take a good look at that, and if the changes are significant in a positive or negative way, I'll put a video together around that. If you also fancy throwing more money at Sony and PD, they've released some merchandise, and oh boy, the pricing of it's not cheap. 2 standouts for me in all its monochrome glory, that is meant to be sarcastic, is that you have 2 pens, ballpoint pens you can buy for £13, or a pint glass for £15. Those prices are ridiculous, being perfectly honest, particularly with Sony's buying power. They are an utter and complete rip-off, quite frankly, so I won't be buying anything from them. And then finally, Forza Motorsport 7 is taking another step in its winding down. So it was removed from storefronts for sale last year, and as of I think it's May, it will be removed from the Forza weekly bonus scheme as well. So it looks like they are properly winding down Forza Motorsport 7, which could mean we're going to get some news around Forza Motorsport. Not 8, because it's being rebooted and just called Forza Motorsport, so hopefully we'll get some news on that very soon. And that's all of the weekly news. What you've been watching here is Assetto Corsa and a couple of mods. So the car in question is a Renault Sport Spider. It's actually a pretty good recreation of it, and I say that from very distant memory because I drove one of these at Silverstone, I think it was. Oh goodness me, it must have been 25 years ago. And the understeer transition into oversteer from it does bring back memories. It's a pretty good recreation, and the track is, and I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this, so my apologies to the French out there, it is a French track, and is the 2016 layout of the Circuit de Anu-Durin. I think that's how it's pronounced, but it's a really nice layout, the circuit I'd not played around with before. I'll leave links to all of these down below. The track is both the track link and a CSP update for the track as well. So that's the mods, and that's this week's Sim Racing News Roundup. If you found this useful, please do hit the like button, and if you want to see more content of this type, please do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be notified when new content gets uploaded. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, everyone. Bye.